The story of my encounter with the jaguars is one of my favorite ones because it was completely unexpected, and the other reason is because it happened less than an hour drive away from my home, from Playa, Carmen, Mexico. There is a little private forest reserve where I like to go and take people to look for snakes, tarantulas, scorpions, and things like that. This time I went with my wife to check the trail to make sure that it will work for a tour I was planning. And when we get to the entry of the private reserve, we've seen my friend, the local guide who lives there, sitting on a bench. But also the manager of the place was there who lives in the city, and he was also just staring the edge of the forest. So we went there and asked what are they looking at or what are they looking for, and they answered that they're waiting for the jaguar. I almost laughed at them because it was such a surreal answer, but I learned that last week almost every evening one or two young jaguars came around that campsite. They were looking for food. I decided that it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, sat down with them and waited. In about 20 minutes, sure enough, the jaguar appeared, which we only noticed because we're turning on and off our flashlight. We couldn't hear anything, and one of the moments we turned it on, we spotted the yellow color moving in the bush. It did not come too close, and the encounter did not last very long, but it was still a surreal experience just sitting there on a bench where normally I pass by every single time when I go for my usual buck hunt. And now there was a jaguar. 2 days after, I went back with my group to look for spiders and snakes, but before getting on the trail, I asked them to sit down on the benches and wait in complete silence. And sure enough, in about 20 minutes, the jaguar showed up, and one by one, they managed to get a little bit closer to the animal and get a great look. They took some pictures and definitely took the best memories possible home. And they are probably the only people on a wildlife tour who managed to see and swim with whale sharks in the morning and then get a close-up look of a wild jaguar in the afternoon. It was a crazy day. After this occasion, with my wife, we went back multiple times. Whenever we had the chance in the afternoon, we went to this reserve to look for the jaguars. We got help and we managed to install some remote cameras as well. Also got some company. Raul, a friend of ours who works with the local wildlife, and he's also a specialist of remote camera installation and tracking jaguars and other wild cats in the area using remote cameras, came out multiple times with us to observe these animals. We were also trying to find out if the mother of the cubs is around still, because they were still in the age they were supposed to stay with their mother, but the mother did not show up in any of our footage, which suggests it might have died, and because of this, the two young ones, before they would have been ready to live alone, they needed to find a way to survive, and one of these adaptations was that they got closer to humans to look for food. One day we were even so lucky that one of the jaguars arrived before it would get dark, and we managed to get some nice videos and pictures in the daytime. I remember we were getting ready with the cameras and saying like, okay, soon in maybe 20 minutes it will get dark, and then once we just looked and the jaguar was already there. Because we were going out that often, the jaguars started to be less afraid of us, so we managed to get a better and a better look at them. One would think with all this tourist infrastructure, with all the new hotels built, big car traffic in the area, there would be no more wildlife and especially no more wildcats in Quintana Roo, the Riviera Maya, but this is far from true. Either if you live in the Riviera Maya or you're just planning to visit or you visited before, I would like you to keep in mind that every single time you drive around the forests or an area of mangrove, or you look out in the window of your hotel to a nice forested area, that there are wildcats living there, pumas, ocelots, jaguars. And also remember, they are the original inhabitants of these forests. Tourism, economy, and new development projects in the area are all very important, but we have to find sustainable ways for future development. We need to be able to keep large, intact areas of forests so these wildcat species can survive. A special thanks goes to Luis, Gerardo, and Raul, who all helped to make these encounters possible, and also for their help trying to save these animals and do as much as possible from the position we were. Also, thank you for the remote cameras, Ale and Andy. This was the story of my encounter with the jaguars close to my home. Please, in case you like this video and would like to be informed about future videos, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and please comment or give a like. I really would like to hear what you think about this encounter. Thank you very much, and see you all soon.